We're seven-handed at the Super High Roller Cash game as Aussie Matt is off getting some reloading funds after he fired a big bluff on the river right into Phil Ivey's straight just before the break. I'm A.J. Benza along with Nick Shulman. Bob Wright gets the action going with 2,500 holding ace-jack.
Now I see what you mean.
Balan sneaks in with 4 deuce suited. Ivey calls right behind with king 9 of spades. And Antonio likes jack 9 suited. And Gentili's aboard.
Looks like she kicks it up to 15,000.
Yeah.
I like her play here. Queen
Yeah.
10 suited is a hand that can flop a lot of possibilities. And she could just take it down right now. Of course, she's looking at Phil Ivey and Antonio Esfandiari having position on her.
At about 340.
But she's here to play.
He has some balls on him. He didn't even hesitate to throw that bluff on Phil.
Jennifer has 350,000 to start the hand. Phil covers and Antonio covers them both, so everybody has quite a few chips here.
Yeah.
All those guys, a lot of the older guys like Clement.
Yeah, I know. But I never started till after like 2002.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
7, 8, 10, 2 spades on the flop, and that hits everyone. The nut straight for Antonio, top pair for Tilly, and straight and flush draws for Phil Ivey.
I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting. And Tilly leads out with her top pair. She could have elected to check, but
she fires 30,000 in.
Her play is fine, and let's see how Phil proceeds. Phil just calls.
We got a 6-figure pot here.
I don't think Antonio is just going to call.
It's just ace-5.
With the nuts and a lot of cards that he doesn't want to see on the turn, he's going to shoot it up to 100 grand. I don't really think Tilly can continue here with just Queen 10. It's frustrating for her to put 45,000 in already and have top pair, but the action here is going to be a bit too rich for her blood.
She's looking everybody over, man. Oh.
That's a wise choice.
Yeah.
But what does Ivey do is the question. He has a straight draw and a flush draw and an overcard. Right now he's trying to figure out what does Antonio have. If Antonio has something like Queen Jack of Spades, Phil is actually ahead with King High. But of course Antonio has the nuts. We know that.
Right.
Phil doesn't. His hand is too strong to fold, but does he raise or call here?
His other hand's actually getting in touch with himself. He makes the call. King of Hearts on the turn. Ivey adds top pair to his straight and flush draws. And Antonio adds a flush draw to his made straight.
Yes, he does. And if Antonio had a hand like 10s and 8s, which I don't know if he would have raised the flop with, but if he did, Phil now has a multitude of outs that he wasn't even considering before. He could hit a 9, a king, or a 7, in addition to his straight flush draw. This could get really interesting.
Well, we're looking at a pot that's close to $300,000, and now it's considerably over $300,000. Esfandiari bets $154,000, and it's back to Ivey.
Well, if you notice, Phil's 20%, so he's a 4-to-1 dog. He's getting almost 3-to-1, but he's actually about 30%. Had Antonio have if Antonio had a set here, which he could, I don't really know if you can get away from this. If anybody can get away from it, it's Phil, but he also has something called implied odds.
What's that?
If he hits his hand, he might very well get paid off. So if he hits a spade and let's say leads into Antonio for $250,000 and Antonio calls, those are odds down the road. If I hit my hand, I might extract more money from Antonio.
Right.
So this pot is actually bigger than it looks, assuming Phil thinks he can get paid off.
He always looks like he's just thinking about
Oh, my God.
Wow, what a monster laydown.
You realize to fold there, he basically put Antonio on precisely a straight. That's unbelievable.
Good to get Ivy steamed up.
I don't even know if I could have folded if he showed me the straight.
Who else did that one on TV?
I mean, we're witnessing utter brilliance by Mr. Ivey.
No argument here.
If I called for sure, it would have gone all in on the turn.
This is what separates Phil Ivey from everybody else.